Have you ever told a friend, please stop being so hard on yourself? You did your best. And then 10 minutes later, called yourself an idiot for something so small you won't even remember tomorrow? If that sounds a little too familiar, stay here, because there's a very specific, very common psychology behind it, and it's not what you think. We like to assume people who are cruel to themselves must just be sad, broken, negative people. That's the lazy explanation. The real one is more specific than that. And honestly, once you understand it, it's kind of a beautiful thing that's just been pointed in the wrong direction. Point 1. The double standard. Here's the first piece. Your friend shows up late because traffic was insane. You immediately say, it's fine, that happens. You show up late for the exact same reason. In your head, suddenly, you're irresponsible, careless, someone who always messes things up. Same event, two completely different verdicts. One for them, one for you. It shows up in the small stuff, too. You reread a text you sent an hour ago and cringe. If a friend sent that exact same text, you wouldn't think twice. Psychologists call this a double standard in self-judgment, an unforgiving rule you apply only to yourself, when you'd never dream of applying to anyone else. Point 2. Kindness as a learned survival skill. But why would a brain build a rule like that? Usually it goes back further than you'd think. For a lot of people, being kind, being agreeable, being the easy one to deal with wasn't just a personality trait, it was a strategy. Somewhere early on, you might have learned that keeping the people around you calm kept things safe. Tension in a house, a parent's mood. Being too much had consequences, so being helpful, easy, and kind became how you kept the peace. There's an actual name for this in psychology, the fawn response. It sits right next to fight, flight, and freeze. Instead of confronting a threat, you appease it. You take care of everyone in the room and quietly leave yourself off the list. Point 3. Self-worth tied to usefulness. And here's where it gets tricky. If kindness was the thing that kept you safe as a kid, your sense of worth can quietly get wired around it. Not, I deserve good things because I exist, more like, I deserve good things if I'm useful, if I help, if I don't cause problems. So when you make a mistake, it doesn't just feel like a mistake, it feels like proof that you're not enough. Meanwhile, you'd never hold a friend to that same impossible standard. Their worth was never conditional in your eyes, just your own. Put it together, the double standard, the fawn response, worth tied to being useful, and you get what psychologists often call the compassion gap, an enormous well of empathy that somehow never gets poured back into the person holding it. Here's the part that actually matters, though. This isn't a character flaw. If anything, it's proof of how much empathy you're capable of. You just never learned the rule was supposed to include you, too. You don't need to get harsher on other people to fix this. You just need to hand yourself the same rule you already give everyone else, for free. So here's a real question, not a rhetorical one. What's something you say to yourself that you would never, ever say to a friend? Type it in the comments. Someone reading this needs to know they're not the only one who talks to themselves like that.